Before we get to our focus on whether the Right to Information Act is under threat, an update on the big story of the day. Industry is celebrating the clearance of FDI in pensions and the insurance sector, but the question is, will these reforms be cleared by Parliament?
The Standing Committee recommended that we retain the FDI cap as 26%. We think that the FDI cap should be raised to 49%. You heard the IRDA chairman's statement over the last 2 days, where the regulator, the IRDA, has categorically stated that insurance requires huge capital, and that capital will only come if we are able to raise the FDI limit to 49%. He's strongly supported increasing the FDI limit to 49%. We will continue to engage all political parties in Parliament to get this bill passed.
Shweta Rajpal Kohli joins us now. Shweta, so these, we know it's been welcomed, people are buzzing about it, but how will it change our lives?
Well, Sunetra, in a number of ways. First and foremost, the government is trying to undo the damage that we'd seen done with regard to complete no decision making taking place on the economic front, complete policy paralysis, which all of it had played a part in the slowdown of the economy. So if you're trying to arrest that entire trend of slowdown, if you're trying to attack the sentiment and reverse it, that in effect affects your life and my life, because we are going to see perhaps a slowdown of that, a reversal of that slowdown process. So remember, this is the government that has seen a lot of bashing that had taken place simply because it was not acting. Now, over the last few weeks, ever since we saw the first wave of reforms being kicked in, just see how, for instance, the stock market has reacted. It has zoomed. Today we saw the Sensex close above 19,000 for the first time in 15 months. Just look at how the rupee has appreciated today, closing at a high of 51.96. Now, these are obviously real impact that we are seeing of these reform measures. But when it comes to the specifics, the micro of how, say, an FDI and insurance is going to affect your life or my life, well, at least for the insurance sector that has been crying for help, we're going to see more foreign capital come in, more technology come in, perhaps more jobs being created, because this was a sector that was in urgent need of help. Of course, there are several political parties who are saying that these measures are anti-people and are not going to help, but the government continues to be on a reform overdrive. It is sending out a message loud and clear that it will continue with its reform process, whether or not there is political support or not, and that by and large is attacking that sentiment, because the perception of the government not doing anything, the perception that the government was completely in a policy paralysis mode, had done enough damage to leading to the kind of slowdown that we'd seen. So at least that sentiment has been attacked, and obviously once the dollars start flowing in, once we see investment that starts to come in, we will see perhaps better technology, more jobs that will get created for the economy on the whole. Back to you, Sunetra.
Shweta, thanks for that. But the investment sector may be thriving, but the government's transparency index isn't doing as well. Ever since the Supreme Court ordered that judicial officers should be appointed information commissioners, many states have closed shop on their commissions, trying to figure out exactly what the Supreme Court's order means for them. Siddharth Pandey has a special report.
SP Barua, Guwahati-based rights campaigner, is a firm believer in the power of information. And since 2005, he's used the right to information to fight for social causes. But since last month, 4 of his RTIs, including his latest query to probe allegations of errors in the school exam marking system in Assam, have been stuck before the State Appeals Commission, which has suspended all hearings.
If things go like that, certainly this is the beginning of the end of this RTI Act.
RTI Act of 2005 mandates timely response of a citizen's request for government information. However, the Supreme Court judgment on appointment of commissioners with legal background has suspended work in a number of states, and also that has delayed and will cause further delay of hundreds and thousands of pending applications. For example, Rajiv Medhi is one such appellant who's got about 4 applications of his own, and he's part of the RTI Assam Forum, which has about 15 pending applications, including some very critical in public health and soil conservation, where they allege scam up to a tune of 600 crores.
In fact, the Supreme Court had last month ruled that from now on, only a bench of 2 members should hear every RTI appeal. and that one of those persons should have a legal background, to include retired and current High Court and Supreme Court judges or legal officers with considerable judicial experience. Only Jharkhand has a retired judge as its Chief Information Commissioner in the country. But after the Supreme Court order, it too has suspended all appeal hearings. Over one-third of the commissions across the country have stopped work for fear of violating the Supreme Court order. And while the government says it will ask for a review, even activists are divided over the Supreme Court's directions.
This would help in perhaps that every Information Commission order is not going to get stayed by high courts, because a better amount of judicial discipline should come into the orders. Today we are finding that a lot of the Information Commission orders have no basis in law.
While RTI has gained popularity, the number of appeals before most information commissions have steadily been rising. The Central Information Commission has a backlog of close to 30,000 cases and an average wait of 7 months for a hearing. In Rajasthan, the situation is dire, with the state government having failed to appoint more than 2 information commissioners for the past 7 years. It currently has a vacancy of 10 commissioners and a growing backlog of 8,000 cases.
मुझे सूचना मिल गई होती आज तक, लेकिन आज तक सूचना इसलिए नहीं मिली कि सूचना आयोग में सुनवाई नहीं हो रही है। मेरी 2010 की एप्लीकेशन का निपटारा आज 2012 का अक्टूबर मास आगे नहीं हो पाया है।
Next week marks the 7th anniversary of the RTI Act. While the powerful transparency law has helped combat corruption, several campaigners and legal experts maintain that the law has yet to reach its true potential. With Kishorai Bhattacharjee in Guwahati and Harsha Kumari Singh in Jaipur, in New Delhi, Siddharth Pandey for NDTV.
India's #1 news app just got even better. Download NDTV's new app. Fully optimized for retina display. Full screen view. Faster response time. And Sudoku. NDTV's new iPad app. Download now.